stretching out a slow hand to pick a crumb of cake from the next table. "Do you know Dr. Esley?" he asked in perfect English. The cavalier at the table looked thoughtful. "I do not know him. Why?" he asked in the same language. "You should know him," said the beggar. "He is interesting." He said no more, shuffling a painful progress along the street. The caballero watched him with some curiosity as he made his way slowly to the next cafe. Then he clapped his hands sharply, and the apathetic waiter, now nodding significantly over his heraldo, came suddenly to life, collected the bill, and a tip which was in proportion to the size of the bill. Though the sky was cloudless and the sun threw blue shadows in the street, those same shadows were immensely cold, for these were the chilly days before the first heat of spring. The gentleman, standing up to his full height, he was well over the 6 feet mark, shook his cloak and lightly threw one end across his shoulder. Then he began to walk slowly in the direction taken by the beggar. The way led him through narrow streets, so narrow that in the walls on either side ran deep recesses to allow the boxes of cartwheels to pass. He overtook the man in the Calle Paraiso, passed him, threading the narrow streets that led to San Fernando. Down this he went, walking very leisurely, then turned to the street of Carrera de Puente, and so came to the shadows of the mosque cathedral, which is dedicated to God and to Allah with delightful impartiality. He stood irresolutely before the gates that opened onto the courtyards, seemed half in doubt, then turned again, going downhill to the bridge of Calahorra. Straight as a die the bridge runs, with its 16 arches that the ancient Moors built. The man with a cloak reached the center of the bridge and leant over, watching with idle interest the swollen yellow waters of the Guadalquivir. Out of the corner of his eye he watched the beggar come slowly through the gate and walk in his direction. He had a long time to wait, for the man's progress was slow. At last he came sidling up to him, hat in hand, palm outstretched. The attitude was that of a beggar, but the voice was that of an educated Englishman. "Manfred," he said earnestly, "you must see this man Esley. I have a special reason for asking." "What is he?" The beggar smiled. "I am dependent upon memory to a great extent," he said, "the library at my humble lodgings being somewhat limited, but I have a dim idea that he is a doctor in a suburb of London, rather a clever surgeon." "What is he doing here?" The redoubtable Gonzales smiled again. "There is in Cordova a Dr. Cajalos. From the exalted atmosphere of the Paseo de Gran Capitan, wherein I understand you have your luxurious suite, no echo of the underworld of Cordova comes to you. Here," he pointed to the roofs and the untidy jumble of buildings at the farther end of the bridge, "in the Campo of the Verdad, where men live happily on 2 pesetas a week, we know Dr. Cajalos. He is a household word, a marvelous man, George, performing miracles undreamt of in your philosophy, making the blind to see, casting spells upon the guilty, and creating infallible love philters for the innocent. He'll charm a wart or arrest the ravages of sleeping sickness." Manfred nodded. "Even in the Paseo de la Gran Capitan he is not without honor," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "I have seen him and consulted him." The beggar was a little astonished. "You're a wonderful man," he said with admiration in his voice. "When did you do it?" Manfred laughed softly. "There was a certain night, not many weeks ago, when a beggar stood outside the worthy doctor's door, patiently waiting till a mysterious visitor